Hal Sparks pizza face anymore.
You don't have COVID pizza face.
I don't have COVID pizza face anymore.
You had some
I did.
pre-cancerous treatment.
Yes.
And that you felt too red. But then Frangela had to switch anyway. Right. So we had dessert on Tuesday. And now we get dessert again. We can have nice things again. We can. And you just got to meet Colonel Steve Austin.
Who is so fluffy and so cute and so lovely. And I love him so very much. I want to take him home, but my cat would kill me.
So you can confirm that he is so fluffy you could die.
Yes. He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die.
He is. He's so sweet.
He is, Steve Austin is not ready for prime time right now.
No,
not yet.
Jamie is the star dog. He is still, let's just say, house training. A little younger than I thought when I rescued him, and not house trained, and also not maybe a dog. Not really sure. We think
his
half
tail's interesting.
Maybe a luck dragon.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm like that Asian couple that adopted a bear by accident.
What?
You didn't hear
They
about
thought
that?
it was a black, like a puppy, a black, and it was a bear.
It was a bear.
Okay.
Yeah, bear. No.
Bear.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Bear.
You think
Stop
they
it.
ate more than slippers?
Stop that, bear!
So that could be my future, whatever's up there. I don't know. I did. Oh, I thank you for the 1,000 puppy suggestions.
Oh, great. Neat. That's awesome.
Cindy says, Steph, sorry to hear about Fred. It never gets easier. I know. It is true. It does not ever
Very
get
true.
easier. Take your Kong and fill it with the peanut butter. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time.
And then freeze it. It lasts longer, and they love it. Your new boy sure is handsome and romantic. Rescue dog mom, Cindy.
Yeah, freezing is a good idea.
Thank you. I was going to do that, but just the report at this hour, Kong has gone missing. Did you know why, Sean? Because Kong bows to no one.
Oh. What? Really?
Kong does not want to be found this morning. I don't know where it is. So I did a regular bone with peanut butter, and I put it in the what?
Well, there's one down here that we keep stepping
That
on.
you
that
broke your ankle on.
All
Yay!
of us. Every single one of us has stepped on it.
Yeah. Well. Stuff on every floor. Jody just saw my new psychotic ball that you turn it on and it goes.
And he was like, what is that? He kept stepping on it. Like, what is that?
He actually slapped Jamie. He's like, what is this?
He did. And she was like, oh, what did you do to my eye?
Help me.
She
What
was
is
like,
this?
oh, my retina.
Ow, my retina.
Okay. Jody, since we've last spoken, first of all, I came down and you all had masks on because thanks a lot. You Cody idiots and mask holes. LA County is requiring masks indoors again.
Am I right or am I right?
That everyone who's not vaccinated needs to hurry up and die?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm still not in the hurry up and die caucus
Okay.
as I have people I love that are not vaccinated. However, I'm so furious, Jody, because as I mentioned this, I'm so furious because it's gotten personal for all of us, hasn't it? But my mom is 98 and has Alzheimer's and has survived a lot in her life, including getting COVID in her nursing home, right? No symptoms. Now she's vaccinated. Someone else has tested positive on the staff there.
Right.
Whole place is shut down again. No one can go see her. She doesn't understand why. Now she has to be retested.
Oy.
I'm like, great, this could still kill my mother because, and I'm like, how is it not mandated that people in nursing homes have to be vaccinated? The last my sister had told me, I don't know when that was, but only half the staff or residents were vaccinated because it's in a very red rural county, right? And now here in LA County, 1 month ago, LA in the remember that? Remember, we wish we all could beat. Play some California music. We wish we all could beat California.
We were doing well.
Girls, right? Remember?
We were.
Yeah, let's go
Our
more
Daisy
Katy Perry.
Dukes bikinis on top.
Right?
Undisclosed location behind enemy lines.
Oh.
Oh.
Well,
How very titillating. So, good morning, sir. So,
Good morning.
as Chris always tells me, I know that they just do this to own the libs, But Tucker Carlson last night said the Texas Democratic lawmakers who fled the state to deny the legislature the quorum necessary to vote on an elections bill were actually committing an act of insurrection. He began by slamming Joe Biden for saying in a speech earlier that the Republican legislature's effort to make it more difficult to vote is the biggest crisis of democracy since the Civil War, which it is. And he said, sound overheated to you, even allowing for the dementia. It was a stunningly irresponsible thing for an American leader to say out loud. Dangerous, even. So Joe Biden saying it is dangerous, and it is an insurrection to leave to prevent a vote, not beating a Capitol police officer to death with an American flag. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I mean, was it an insurrection when Ted Cruz took his baggage and tried to fly to Cancun?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to be redefining words here,
and dereliction of duty. Thank you. Yes.
Or defector, or I mean, there's nothing to be said good about Tucker Carlson. Let's just put this on the table. I actually had a person who was in Paris send a photograph with F. Tucker on the wall. And believe me, I'm going to send that to you so you can put it up on your website.
Okay.
Because, no, there aren't any Tuckers in the world, right? So that being said, this man is the supreme propagandist of the insurrectionists now. And in the book that I'm going to be having come out soon enough, which I predicted the entirety of the insurrection and a generational long insurgency, starting with a political insurgency where we are right now. It requires propagandists like this to carry out the strategy I call DARF, and that is deny, attack, revenge, and fear. And right now they are in the deny phase of a Republican strategy to reinvent everything that's happened in the last year. They are trying to deny that Donald Trump lost the election. They're denying Joe Biden is president of the United States. And now they're trying to say that there never was an insurrection in the Capitol. I watched that New York Times video the other day, which went step by step. That was an extremely violent 40,000 people descending on the Capitol, several thousand penetrating the building, engaged in furious hand-to-hand combat. And that's what Officer Mike Fanone and all the rest who said there. People who lost eyes, fingers, who were traumatized from this. It was furious hand-to-hand combat using American flag and Blue Lives Matter flags and Trump flags as spears and javelins on the policemen.
Yeah.
And Tucker Carlson is the vehicle and mouthpiece to deny any of this happened. So I guess all of our lying eyes are continuing to lie to us. But his audience are drones.
By the way,
they are a cult.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of you as a Navy, as a military man, I mean, I get now when I watch all this footage, Malcolm, what I don't know if it was Michael Fanone or someone who has served said, I have never been involved, because that's not the way our military generally. You're not involved in hand-to-hand combat for hours. I mean, has anyone asked these Republicans, why do you think 2 Capitol policemen killed themselves after this? Why do you think they all have PTSD and have lost fingers and eyes and on, right? I mean, it's just, because even people that serve aren't used to that level in some cases of combat, right?
No one has been in hand-to-hand combat, really. I mean, you go door to door, you can get in tight situations. I've been around ambushes and suicide car bombs. These are events that might last minutes, even if you're on the offensive, like in Fallujah, a matter of hours, but you're in elements. And what happened here was human mass. That was thousands and thousands of them putting their bodies against you. And, the only thing that didn't happen was, and I was part of the group that was identifying many of these insurrectionists and seditionists, there were guns there. We have photographs of people carrying concealed pistols, concealed knives.
Yeah.
These things were there. The only thing they didn't do was use them at the time. But if the police had started firing, no doubt it would have turned into a raging gun battle.
Yeah.
But they don't care.
They keep saying that. Oh, this
don't
was an
care.
unarmed peaceful tourist visit. And by the way,
Oh,
FBI
my
agents
God.
have seized another cache of guns belonging to the insurrectionist who had the Lego set of the U.S. Capitol as well as notes about
Right.
forming a militia. So, you know, we have one more. Oh, how about this one? How about this guy? A day after the release of a video appearing to show him mistaking the U.S. Capitol for the White House, a federal judge granted bond to a QAnon adherent charged with storming the building he incorrectly identified. I'm sorry. Bunch of dumbasses. Citing the video and making that decision, the judge said the QAnon believer does not appear as though he could have planned or coordinated the siege of the U.S. Capitol when he appeared to have no basic understanding of where he even was that day. The video of his, he said, "This is me touching the White House," and he's at the. So really, dumbassery is going to be a defense that you get bond
And
instead of jail.
And
yeah.
It was, and his lawyers got him to be on home restriction. He's at home now. He's not in jail. And I'm going to be honest with you. Many of these insurrectionists are not in jail, and they are not getting, and the people who are pleading are not getting severe sentences. The FBI, for better or worse, and the Department of Justice, they're going after the bigger fish. All of these people are being used as stepping stones to get to the conspiracy here. And there is a conspiracy. I outline it in this new book that's coming out.
Yeah.
The Proud Boys, Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the leader of Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, and the 3% militia, they had been coordinating as early as 6 November 2020 in order to start showing up at rallies with guns and preparing quick reaction forces with guns in Virginia. They came to the December 12th rally with the intent to do street combat with Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And they were appointing themselves as these brown shirts who were protecting the White House. And after December 12th rally, they started coordinating how they were going to attack the Capitol. And to tell you the truth, that's what I'm really looking for. Because when you get the head of the Oath Keepers, that group is not a group, it's former armed forces and members of the police forces. But you've got to brand them for what they are. They are insurrectionist terrorists.
Wow, that is a huge Justice Matters sign behind you.
Made it with my own two hands, Steph.
That's set dressing.
Wow. We need it this morning. As
Yes.
you tweeted today, we are all General Milley. Justice is a team sport. We all need to get in the game. Glenn, you're the first person I thought of this morning. I mean, it is a fire hose of news, but I hope what we are not distracted from is the overthrow of the United States government and how close we were to, as General Milley described it, a Reichstag moment. The actual him ordering Trump ordering the military to a military coup. I just, Glenn, you keep saying it. As long as we're on Hitler analogies, Hitler had an attempted coup that he was not really punished for, and then we all know what happens when he came back. Please explain to people the urgency of the moment we are in.
I have been trying to explain the urgency of the moment we're in for quite some time, Steph. But, I think General Milley may have just handed us a gift. And here's why. First of all, thank goodness for General Milley, right? I was active duty Army for 6.5 years before I went to the Department of Justice. There's one thing that is drilled into our heads. Not only must you obey a lawful order, but you must disobey an unlawful order. That's drilled into us in the military. That's what General Milley was prepared to do if Trump tried to orchestrate a coup. And boy, and here's the gift I think he gave us, Steph. And I think this may be my new tagline somehow. I need to figure it out. Donald Trump and the Republicans continue to sell the big lie to us, or try. And you know what that is? That is an ongoing attempted coup. That's what they are doing. I'm going to adopt General Milley's approach to that challenge to our democracy. Quote, They may try, but they are not going to effing succeed. And that's what Donald Trump tried to do. That's what he's still trying to do. That's what the Republicans are trying to do. And we all need to be General Milley and announce they will not effing succeed.
Glenn, you tweeted Donald Trump inarguably committed multiple federal crimes. DOJ needs to make a move. If they fail to charge Trump, DOJ will be making a mockery of the rule of law and ignoring the importance of a safe, healthy, stable democracy. What happens now? Testimony before Congress, DOJ, you tell me what we do about this.
Yeah, testimony before Congress is lovely. We'll see how many subpoenas are honored. And if they're not honored, we'll see how many inherent contempt cases are brought. I'm not optimistic about congressional hearings. DOJ has to act. I was talking with Travis about this earlier this morning. Just yesterday, Steph, I do a video about how, you know what, we need to give the Department of Justice time to build the insurrection case because they're still on the foot soldiers and they're working their way up. And then when I saw General Milley's quotes this morning, you know, I completely changed course. DOJ has to act, not necessarily by charging him now for inciting the insurrection, though that charge must come. There are so many other dang crimes that Donald Trump committed. He needs to be federally indicted, and we need that to happen now.
Yeah. Well, Glenn, that's what I said. I think we are distracted by how many crimes he has committed. I mean, New York is about before he was even president. He is a lifelong criminal. So, yes, justice matters on every level for everything. But look at this story this morning about the Kremlin, which looks credible, that, you know, which we already knew from the Mueller report and the Senate intelligence report. But this is why you've said we have to at least prosecute the obstruction of justice in that case, that this is bookended with treason, this presidency, and illegitimacy. And it is, I just don't see how we can just say, oh, well, let's just move on. I mean, without, as you said, some say we shouldn't prosecute Trump for his crimes against the United States and we the people because it will inspire his supporters to violence. You can't decline to fight for what's right for fear of how it will inspire those who are in the wrong. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't that exactly it?
Yeah, and I read the reporting on Russia orchestrating Trump's election victory, and I'm like, well, yeah, duh, let me turn to the box scores. Yeah. I mean, we knew this because Mueller documented it in his investigation. He concluded, he found evidence that Russia engaged in sweeping and systematic interference to get Donald Trump elected. This just reinforces it from documents that were somehow leaked from the Kremlin. But this we already knew. So Merrick Garland has got to move out. I know you don't want to be perceived as political, but there's nothing political about indicting folks who committed crimes, even if they happen to be politicians.
So if you were Attorney General, and I wish you were, oh, did I say that part out loud?
You did.
Oh, okay.
Just a little.
Well, God bless Merrick Garland. My point is, Glenn, what would you charge and when? How do you pick? I mean, that's what I don't even get. There's so many crimes. What do you charge and when if you're Attorney General?
I would charge every crime that I had a reasonable likelihood of success on the merits, because that's the standard by which federal prosecutors are obliged. So we have to believe that we have sufficient evidence basically to persuade a jury of guilt, a reasonable likelihood of success on the merits. I sure would have started with the campaign finance violations and the conspiracy he was in with Michael Cohen, because that case has already been proved courtesy of Michael Cohen's guilty plea.
He's already individual number one. Yes, thank you. Go
exactly.
ahead.
So that has already been investigated and proved. I would have brought the 10 obstruction of justice counts that have been documented by Bob Mueller. Why? Because that investigation has concluded. There's absolutely no reason to decline or delay bringing those charges. And then, believe me, I would turn my attention to the avoidable COVID deaths, because death is different. And we have 600,000 families who lost a loved one, and many of them didn't have to die. They died at the hands of Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, and Mike Pence. Plain and simple. Put me in front of a jury and I will prove it. There's so many crimes that could be charged and should be charged.
Hi. I
that
have
your-
to see myself, but I can't see Jody. Jody's a lot prettier than me.
Aw.
Aw, Jody's prettier than everybody. But anyways, I thought that was your coup dance. You were doing your military coup. Yeah.
They took my Bibles! They took my Bibles! They came to my door to give me a vaccine and took away my Bibles, medicine popcorn! That this would happen! But fortunately, I'm a Trump voter, so I don't read my Bible. I just tell people I own one.
Let me ask you a serious question. Do they really think you're coming to take their Bible and their gun if they come to tell you where a vaccine's available?
These are the people, Stephanie, who think that China deliberately unleashed COVID-19 on the world because China's evil plan was to spend 50 years building the world's greatest economic powerhouse and then destroy it all.
Right.
That's what they believe. So yes, they'll believe anything.
And kill all their own people first. Yes, that makes sense. Okay. You tweeted the MAGA creed, the pandemic scare is a hoax. 2, Trump deserves all the credit for any vaccine. 3, and a vaccine must be called the Trump vaccine. 4, there is no way I'm taking that damn vaccine.
That's right.
It is already just a cognitive disconnect. You're right on all of it. It makes no sense. Dr. Redlener yesterday wrote a piece that I could barely about how Biden needs to ask Trump for his help and to do a PSA with him, and I'm like, okay, maybe I don't know, what is like your prison release? What is it, Jody? As terms of your sentencing, something. Can't.
Well, I think look, here's the thing, right? Like, Trump could do one PSA. He could do one commercial saying, I got a vaccine with my wife, Melania, and you should get one too. He could do that. And he could own the libs so bad if he did that and take away so much of our ammo. But he's too stupid to realize that would help himself because the Republican Party has a brilliant plan. They hate democracy, Stephanie. You know this, right? They hate democracy so much, they're willing to kill off their own voters. And that's the plan.
Well,
that is the plan.
Yes, you are my personal comedy Jesus. And as you know, Chris Lavoie is a satanic atheist who wants people that aren't vaccinated to hurry up and die.
However, that doesn't work.
But here's the problem, is what we're talking about this morning, John, is that it's not just yourself. This is like we just have a mask mandate back in place in LA. Like it's not they're not just harming themselves, the unvaccinated. They're causing this surge in the Delta variant. We're going to be back to shutdowns in a minute, right?
You are. And by the way, it's secondhand smoke on steroids.
Exactly.
And that's why, look, nothing against atheists. Some of the best Christians I know are atheists, all right? And some of the most godless heathens I know are believers. But I can't get off on this whole like, oh, let the Trumpers die. Because first off, it's not all Trumpers. Some of it's just poor people who aren't getting the information.
There's people I love that aren't vaccinated, that aren't Trumpers.
Here's the problem. We have the burden of having to be the good guy. Remember, Chris? Liberals have to be the X-Men. We have to fight for the people who are afraid of us.
Chris is not with you.
They think we're mutants, but we're just really evolved. And being the good guy sucks. So, we have to, the best case scenario is that this thing ends and we can't use this against Trump, right? But, like, the ignorance is staggering. And, the same people who are demanding we call it the Trump vaccine won't get the vaccine because Trump got it and his wife got it and they wouldn't allow themselves to be photographed. And don't forget, we were told. He didn't announce it. We were told. So Trump could do this. He doesn't need Joe Biden to ask him. He could just record a PSA right now and he could save hundreds of thousands of lives, but he's too dumb to realize that would help. Donald Trump could have put Merrick Garland on the Supreme Court day one and shut us all up for a year. He's too dumb to help himself.
Can I just say one thing though?
Yes.
I always say people who refuse to get the vaccine can go ahead and die. Not people who can't get the vaccine.
Right. There's a difference.
I understand.
But people
but again, the ones who but saying they can go ahead and die, they can still spread it to other people.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It is already affecting all of us. It is not just there being, it's like Dr. Redlener said, it's like a drunk driver. You are not just affecting you if you're not vaccinated. I mean, yes, by the way, could I have the tiniest of violins? You are really going to challenge us, John, to be our own personal comedy Jesuses. It was revealed Trump was so ill
Yes. Oh, yes.
And Mark Meadows was asking staff to pray for him. At the hospital, Trump grabbed his small overnight bag and carried it inside. But he had been so weakened, the president dropped the bag after a few feet. When it fell to the floor, doctors, aides, law enforcement officers around Trump all seemed to take a step back. It appeared as if they were nervous about his infection and didn't want to touch his belongings.
Wow.
But at that moment, Mark Meadows stepped forward, picked it up, and carried it into his room. That's when I knew you were my guy, Trump later said to him. Isn't that touching?
Because you carried my bag like Pataki carried Giuliani's jacket on 9/11.
Yeah.
It's true. He was really sick. Donald Trump was so sick that day, his own syphilis had a GoFundMe. That's how.
So, John, Tucker Carlson in February said there's no evidence that white supremacists were responsible for what happened on January 6th. This is Marshall Cohen tweeted, "This was always a lie. Look at who pled guilty today. Michael Curzio, who was in a neo-Nazi prison gang and still has swastika tats." And you said, you tweeted, Michael Curzio shot a guy in the chest, jailed for attempted murder, joined a violent prison gang, is covered in Nazi ink, joined the 1/6 terrorist attack on the U.S. Capitol, was just released for time served, $500 fine. Now imagine he wasn't white. Welcome to critical race theory.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Every right-winger who read that got tricked into understanding critical race theory. You're becoming a Marxist now. You're becoming a Marxist right now. It's already inside you. The virus is airborne. Can you imagine a black man in jail for attempted murder, joins a violent gang, and then does this terrorist attack on the Capitol, and they let him off with a slap on the wrist? I mean, wow, man. Being an ignorant white guy, that's a good gig. I'll tell you.
Yeah. John, what was your reaction to all this reporting? General Milley, and I don't even know where to start. Starting with Trump saying Hitler did some good things, to General Milley saying this was almost our Reichstag moment. I mean, there has got to be consequences for this.
There's got to be. I've been saying for a while, who knew that that Barack Obama was the Weimar Republic? You know, it's terribly scary. And all this happened the same weekend. Just coincidentally, they took down the Robert E. Lee statue in Charlottesville, which I think is connected beautifully. And I love that. That was like porn for moral people. You know, the very fact is that Milley said these things, and Donald Trump put out a press release berating the highest ranking military officer in the U.S. Armed Forces, because that's what real men who are draft dodgers do. And the Pentagon just had no comment. They didn't deny it. They had no comment. Look, when the guy's ex-wife says he kept a copy of Mein Kampf on his bed table, and the guy's ex-chief of staff said he praised Hitler, and he can't stop talking about how German he is, just maybe, folks.
Yeah.
Lean in and have your own Reichstag moment. But again, you know, the
you
armed
think
forces.
Germans forget it. He's rolling.
Yeah.
The unsung hero is the U.S. military, because they had a plan. They weren't going to all resign at once. They were going to resign a different top-ranking general every single day to keep it in the headlines. So thank you, U.S. military, for protecting us from enemies, foreign and domestic. You know, the greatest threat, it's not the foreign terrorists, it's the domestic imbeciles.
Yes, but I believe attempted coup, Jody, for your law and order degree is a crime of some sort.
It
Isn't
is,
it? Even
yes,
an attempted
yes,
coup? Okay.
It absolutely
All right.
is, yes.